Welcome everyone to another episode of The Life of Charles Schmidt. Today it is episode 19. Charles, welcome to another one of your episodes where once again you will be telling us about yourself, your story, and why not your life, right? Today it's gonna be based on health and you. I'm sure that a lot of we have been talking a lot about values and life experiences and issues that you faced in life. But and throughout all those videos, they basically come with some kind of advices. But I'm sure that there's quite a little bit of people out there that are either about your age, or even myself. I'm going towards there. And why not getting the Charles tricks on staying healthy and aging the right way, or at least the Charles way? So that's what today is about. So stay tuned. Charles, what's your current daily or weekly health routine?
What is my current daily health routine? I don't have a plan when I wake up, but it things come into my mind. Like I did some leg raises this morning. Well, I haven't done leg raises in months. But this is something that came to mind that I should exercise, and so do I have a routine? No. Should I have a routine? Yes. Uh, Summer calls me, frequently, and texts me frequently, and it's always don't fall down. Well, I can't. Now that seems so simple, but I can't. uh, I can't remember to keep my balance. And boy, and sometimes I slip or trip over something, and it's just because I'm not paying attention, but because I've told her to say to me, "Don't fall down." That's what she says every day to me. So, uh, as far as my daily health routine, it's poor, but and it's unregimented, but it's something that I need to do. I'm conscious of it. I see my son who's in great shape and perfect health. Well, he doesn't just do it because he feels like being. He goes to the gym every day or every other. You know, it takes work. It's like if I want to get better at video or YouTube stuff, I gotta practice. I gotta do something all the time. So it's getting back to the health routine. Uh, it's not just the physical health; it's the mental health. That you got to be. For me, I've got to be around people. I've got to be reading magazines. I've got to know. It's a terrible waste of time for me to be watching political shows and stuff like that. But that's an addiction.
Let me ask you, do you actually use any contact lenses or anything like that?
Do I do what?
Do you use any contact lenses?
I had, uh, yeah, I used contact lenses for maybe 20 years. However, 3 or 4 years ago, I had a cataract operation. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay, so they put the lenses in. Now I have one lens for distance and one lens for reading, and I've had them in, so I don't use contacts now. I am very happy with them, and you know, my eyesight is good.
I was gonna say because you're able to read this small tiny print in here. Um and never hear you complain about anything, and I can see that you're basically
Yeah.
pretty good with your vision. So have you always been this active, or did it became later in life?
No, I've been very active all my life, but I've been spending my time doing unproductive stuff like drinking. Like I play tennis every afternoon. I would play cards all the time. I I'd play poker over at my country club where I was a member. I would have When I came to Palm Beach, I was playing gin rummy 2 or 3 times a week, and that takes a long time. Then I play bridge, and I do. In other words, this is unproductive stuff. I was killing time. I wasn't I wasn't benefiting anybody. I was just wasting my way through life.
What is the one thing that gets you off bed and keeps you going at 8 5?
Well, I mean, each day is different, but I always have something, in mind the day before what I'm going to do the next day. And the highlight of my day to day is you coming over here and doing a YouTube video, and that I might say something that's valuable that might help somebody someday, sometime.
How do you keep your mind sharp and your spirits up?
By being around people, I can't do it by myself. I have to be interacting. I have to be on the phone, seeing people, going places. I have to be. I have to be participating in the fabric of life. I just make whatever that means.
You mentioned a lot about mental health. Do you believe that habits or attitudes have helped you your mental health?
Of course, people get so. Well, I was one of those guys. I used to get real angry. And boy, that's so unproductive. It really doesn't accomplish anything. And, uh, and I see other people that get just as angry as I used to be. I mean, real nice people getting real angry and just totally destroying friendships. You can permanently, you can permanently turn some, just, and that is anger is very bad for my mental health, and it has served me no worthwhile purpose at any time in my life.
In the previous video, you talked about your fear of stuck breathing and not being able to wake up on that next day. How do you handle that fear about aging or dying?
I never know when the last day is going to come, and like you know, I remember when my dad died. I watched him die. I watched him take his last breath, and he had mucus coming out of his mouth, and I'm stuck with mucus every morning and coughing, and uh, it's I just don't know, and then I get over it, or my blood pressure goes way up. I'm worried about something, and it goes way up. I um, it's a struggle, and but it is what it is, and I can't. In other words, there's you know well, like there could be simple remedy, but my doctor hadn't exactly come up with it. However, the best person that's a doctor to me is Summer. In other words, when my voice was, going out the other day and my throat was dry, and she says, well, take some ginger. I remember one time when a couple of years ago, I was all congested and everything. And so she gets a boiling pot and and takes and puts some ginger in there and something else. It's and I have no clothes on and covers me up with a blanket, and so I'm sweating all the congestion out and breathing in the ginger and the spices or whatever else she's got in there.
Do you just talk about how much time you have wasted throughout your life, how you feel like the time is running out, and how you used to drink a lot? Is there anything that you wished that you knew earlier about health than now?
Yeah, you have to respect your body. Your body can only be tortured for so much. So much.
You mentioned listening to your body and speaking of body, how how has your relationship with your body changed over the years?
My balance is not as good. Fortunately, with cataracts, my eyesight is great now. My hearing is deteriorating. My energy level is deteriorating. It's uh, just aging. That's an inevitable thing. Uh, I'm just aware of it. I live with it. It's unrealistic, and I don't. I just am happy, to wake up every morning. I'm, when I used to wake up, I'd say, "Oh God," now
I'm going to work another day. um, Charles, what do you think is the biggest myth about getting older that you love to boost?
I think old people have a lot to contribute. I think I think you can learn a lot from old people, and listen to old people. And um, I go back to Ken Langone. He's an old guy, but you can learn from him, and he's he's running a business that's got four or 500,000 people working for him, but he still takes time out, say, and Mr. Mango, wish you a happy Father's Day.
Yes, absolutely.
So old guys, old people have a lot to contribute, and Jane Smith, by her actions, is so full of life. At 106, and be 107 in less than a week.
How has your view of aging changed over the years?
I'm surprised to have lived this long. Since I have, that's it's a real treat. You know, when the lights go out, the lights go out. But until then, uh, I like to keep myself active and talk to you and talk to Ashley Brown and ride her, go to lunch with her.
What advice would you give someone in their 30s or 40s about preparing to age well?
What can I tell them? They have to, first of all, they have to want to age. They have to realize, the importance of taking care of themselves and getting the most out of their life while they can. And you can have a much more, and you can do much more when you're young and in good health than you can in bad health. Like if I were 30 and 40 with my kind of the money that I have now, I would be taking trips. I'd be going to Europe. I'd be going to concerts. I'd go to see people, and I'd be doing so much more. But I have physical limitations now. Like I talked to Mikhail the other night. Well, why don't you? I've got this concert in Norway, and the boat goes up to Norway, and why don't you come up? Well, I can't do that. Or Ursula say, well, why don't you come over and visit me in London or something? Well, yeah, I'd like to do that. Or Wally says the other night, why don't, or I say to him, maybe Jane Smith is 107, right after her birthday party. She is going up to her rented house in Newport for vacation and invite people up to her house in Newport. And Wally's going up there and I could go up, with Wally, and we have dinner and play cards, and I could see Dee Dee Wilsey, and I could do all kinds of stuff, but I'm afraid to go because, you know, I just rather, I like the comfort of my own apartment, and, I just don't have the courage to do it. So do as much as you can while you can. The worst thing is to mortgage your future. Uh, this all this stuff that I'm talking, going different places and doing different things, all costs money, and don't do it all now so that you owe all this money when you get old, and you're not lucky enough like me to, or you just don't have it, and the government decides to cut your Social Security, cut off your Medicare, cut, all these things, or deport you. I'm very happy to be under my current circumstances, even though I can't do as much as that
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
wish I could.
Do you ever feel young on the inside, even if your body says some the
Oh yeah,
opposite?
sure, yeah, yeah,
Good.
yeah.
What do you think people misunderstand about growing old?
Well, that all old people are decrepit and don't, they're senile, so on and so forth. I remember Jean Taylor was a very lively person, and I remember vividly when she's in her 90s over there, and we're over at Club Colette, which is a very fancy dinner club, and we're dancing out there, and everybody else is going home, getting a little bit late, and the band is going to close up, and she tells me to give the the piano player another $50 to play whatever the song was she wanted. All I can think of is Melancholy Baby. That one's a song, but she wanted him to play some song that she could dance to, and she is in her 90s. So she lived a full life. She fell down and spent the last 2 miserable years of her life. And but she had a full life, and she kept her mental um, sharpness by continuing to give to charities.
What can you tell people about healthy habits that they can adopt to age healthy?
Spend time. Make sure as you're approaching old age that you generate some strong friendships that you just and like I one thing that I was very conscious of is that I see so many people going out, old people going out to dinner and lunch with their nurses. Now the nurse is just a hired hand. The nurse is not on their same intellectual level. They didn't. The nurse has probably just come from an agency and just has to be with them and go with them, and most of the time they don't talk during the lunch. So it's to maintain genuine friendship. And I have my son and daughter each have families that they need to take care of. They need to take care of their business. They need to take care. They have they can't take care of me, and and I don't want to impose on them. So I found Summer, who comes from a culture that takes care of old people, and so she has never given me any reason to doubt her. And so that is a comfort that I have, is that she will step in, and she is my healthcare surrogate. In other words, she's the one that decides whether I go to the hospital or whether they pull the plug on me or whatever. I didn't leave that decision to either one of my children.
That's good to know. So, last question for you, and to finish this video: if aging gratefully had a definition, what would your definition be?
Maintain as many friendships as you can. Maintain solid family relationship. Like this call that I didn't answer is from my friend Nick down in Fort Lauderdale. It's been my friend for over 50 years, and he wants me to come down there. And I just might, after this, I just might drive down there today to see him, because there's, I remember one of my friends, Charles Amory, who got real old, and he called me up and he wanted me to go to lunch. And I used to go to lunch with him every day. He was over in Palm Beach, take me to school. And then I'd get tired of going out to lunch with him, and he'd call me up desperately, want to have lunch with me, and I didn't go. And that night they tell me his wife called me and told me he died.
Wow.
So in other words, maybe he had something go off in his mind that, well, even the reason he invited me to lunch is because I would drive him to lunch, and we would talk to each other. We would play backgammon because we
Had a good time, for sure.
yeah. So my friend Nick, I'm gonna, because this be probably if I go down there, it'll be my last time. If I don't go down there, I probably won't ever see him again.
Absolutely. Charles, thank you again for sharing your wisdom, your experiences, and why not use your little secrets of ginger?
Ginger.
Everyone, I think this was a great video. The takeaways are: listen to your body, stay healthy, stay active, have friends, true friends, and why not enjoy every single day of your life. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for the next episode.